Hello everyone, how are you today? So pretty much today I'm gonna go through how you gonna do the SQL project for this semester and explaining to you how to go through different queries, how to see the thought process behind it and how to break the problem down into parts. So let's get started. So the thought process behind doing this project is that you're gonna figure out and select all the part. It's gonna be the first step. Second, for the next step, you're gonna try to find out where they are from. And finally, you just need to filter out and modify them based on the requirements. So without much talking, let me go ahead and do the first problem for you. And in this videos, I'm gonna go through 6 of them. The difficulty is gonna be, from something really easy to a really popular question that students have. So let's get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the first problem right here. So usually what I usually do in the beginning is that I'm gonna go ahead and type in the word select, and select pretty much is gonna the function gonna cap like a you display the information that is required in the question. And after that I'm gonna do the word form, and pretty much just gonna leave it right there with a semicolon. And going back to the problem, is asking you to display all information on program. So when you see the word display, it pretty much mean select, and it's asking for all information. I'm gonna go ahead and type in the word star. And next thing is that it's asking for the it's telling you the location is gonna be program. So I'm asking you for program. So pretty much you're gonna go related back to the ERD model, and you go ahead and go through everything, and I find program right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and type the word program next to the word form. So I'm gonna type in program. So until this point you can go ahead and run it to see that you are doing it correctly. So I'm gonna go ahead and click run, and you can do control enter. So do control enter, and it's showing you everything is query out from the database. And the next thing is that it's asking you to narrow down your result within the program field of the college of business. So when you see right through all the columns, you see the word PRG field, which is gonna be related to the information from the question. So I'm gonna go ahead and gonna do where, and immediately gonna pop up the a drop down table for you to choose everything. So gonna go ahead and just click on PRG field, or you can type it out. It's gonna be up to you as well. And it's gonna be, and the question asking you to narrow down your queries for the college of business. So I go ahead and do PRG field equal to single quote, and I'm gonna go do business. And just as heads up for you guys, when you do anything within the single quote, it's gonna be super case sensitive. So make sure that you type out everything correctly. And I go ahead and hit run again. So, and there you go, pretty much it clears out everything perfectly for you. And I'm gonna go back to the question to see if there's gonna be any extra information, and I don't think so. So that's usually how the basic step when that you're gonna do when you approach so the next question that I'm gonna do is gonna be question number 4, and this question is already getting a little bit harder than the previous question. So like the previous step, I already copied down everything from here, and let's go ahead and go through everything right here in the question. So it's saying right here, for each program major, it's asking you to display the total number of students declared. So until this point, pretty much I didn't say anything else beside the word student. So from the information provided right here, this is gonna be like the 2 columns that you're gonna have to query out. So I saw the word stu major right here, and now based on this information, I'm gonna go straight to the the ERD diagram to find where it's gonna be. And I know exactly that when I go down here, I saw that it's gonna be under the entity of student. So knowing those information, I'm gonna go ahead to go back right here and type in the word select. Select all from student. And don't get confused right here. The reason that I do the star right here is that I'm gonna queries out everything. So going back to the the form right here, I see that it's asking for two columns and it's saying let's do major right here. So when I go down here, I found that still major is gonna be right here, but I couldn't find anything saying that like the number of student. So from the information right here, it's asking you to like display the whole number of student, declare each major as a number of students. So from what I'm guessing so far, it's gonna be the function count. So in case if you don't know where to go, you have to cheat sheet, and you're gonna see that there's gonna be like how you gonna do count right there. So from those like figure out all the information, I gonna go ahead and type in the first thing. So based on like the information provided by the columns right here, I'm gonna go ahead and type the word still major, or you can relate it to the columns right here. So I'm gonna remove the star and go and type in the word still underscore major. And for the number of students, I know that it's gonna be the count function. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a comma. I'm gonna go ahead and type in the word count, and it's asking you to count the student declared in each major. So it's gonna be count by the major right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the still major. And whenever you do like an aggregated function like count, average, min, max, or sum, you have to immediately following up with the expression called group by. So it's usually like it's gonna be after the word from, and I go ahead and type in the word group by. And since the question asking you to display the total number of students based on the major, so it's just gonna go ahead and on the parentheses. Oh no, never mind. We're just gonna do group by without group by and still major. Sorry, that was my bad. And I'm gonna go ahead and query it. So far you see that you have the queries right here with the count for each major. And looking back at the columns right here, you see you have still major. That's perfect. And the second column, you seeing that like oh, this is an ugly count and still major. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to change the name of the columns right here. You're going to go ahead and do the word as. Sorry, as. So we're going to do the the double quotation, and type in the number of student. And finally, asking you to sort by major ascending. So I just go ahead and go down here, and the syntax for short gonna be order by. So I go ahead and type in the word order by. Order by major. So it's gonna be ordered by still major. And you can leave it like that, or you can do a SC for ascending, because that's pretty much how you're gonna do like the question number 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and do question number 6 for you. So as you can see right here, I already copy everything from the Word file over there, and this question is gonna be the type question that you're gonna create a bunch of stuff from many different entities by joining them based on the primary and the foreign keys relationship that you learned several chapters ago. So if you take a moment, stop this video right here and go read through the problem. So when you break down everything right here, you can see that it's gonna ask you to display the section ID, course ID, and various stuff that you may find on this table right here. And it's gonna ask you to filter down for the filter down for all sections that offer in the auditorium. And finally, it's asking you to order your result in ascending order by remedy and course ID. But so far, just don't worry about this stuff because it's gonna be the stuff that you're doing in the end. The first thing you need to do is finding out, where those things came from. So let's start breaking down the problem. So when as the you agree the first step, I'm gonna go ahead and do a select. I'm just gonna go ahead and put star right there, just to as a placeholder and from. And honestly, don't know. So far, I did not know where I'm gonna query from, so just gonna leave it right there with a semicolon. And reading through the problem, you see that the first thing it asks for you is not gonna be the section ID. So you go down to columns right here, and pretty much you don't see anything. So therefore, you're gonna need to rely on your ERD model right here. So you see that it's asking you for section ID. Immediately, you're gonna go through everything on your table, and just to fast forward everything for you, it's gonna be in this situation, it's gonna be under the table, the entities, or the table of section. And you go through everything, and it's straightforward telling you that it's gonna be the sec ID right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in the word section right here to see to see everything on the table. So yep, I saw the word sec ID right here, so just gonna go to change. I go ahead to change this star into sec ID. Queries one more time, and yes, you got the first thing. And as I said in the beginning, this program asking you to query out a bunch of stuff from different tables. So just gonna go ahead and do a query start here, doing like a select all and from section one more time. The reason that I do this queries right here, because whenever I need to relate it back to the columns that is included in the entities or the table right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and run this query so that it's showing me everything that I needed to query out in case if I need to go back. And let's go ahead and do the next part with course ID. So for course ID, pretty much like I go back to section table right here, and you may need to stop the video to take a look at it. And to fast forward everything, I see nothing in the section table right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and move forward to other table. And also, just to fast forward everything, I finally found it under the entity of course right here, and it's saying course ID right here. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put it next to the wait. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do select all again. Select all. Instead of typing everything out, you're gonna go ahead and copy everything. Select all from in this case we're gonna do course. I'm gonna go ahead and run it and showing you everything based on the entities right here. So you got course ID. Go ahead and do a comma and type in the course ID right there. And the next thing that we're gonna need to find out is gonna be the course name. So looking at the table that we just query out from these queries, I saw that we have CSR course name right here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and type it, do a comma right here, and just gonna type everything out. And next thing is gonna be the course term, but the problem right here is that I couldn't find anything related to course term. So from what I'm guessing it's gonna be under another entities. So let's pause the video right here and try to find like look through all the entities and find out where it's gonna be under. And from this moment on, you know exactly that cross term is not under the entity of course, so just gonna go ahead, you should go ahead and put a command next to the word section and do the course right here. And so the way that you're gonna find location for like this or any future piece of information is you're gonna use your common sense. So so looking at everything right here, when you look at it's gonna took a little it's gonna took a while to look for it, but to fast forward everything, I found when you see it course and the term, you know exactly that this is not going to be making any sense because these may not have any like information related to the terms. And to fast forward everything, after a while looking at like a different individual attributes, I find that course term is under section right here. So as a result, I'm just gonna go ahead and type in the word check CSR and term. You can click on here as well. You can keep the the section part, you can remove it. Both ways okay. And we already type out the word section for the table, so you don't need to type it out a second time. And just to make sure that we find the right piece of information, I'm just going to go back to the section table, click it and run it again, and see that yes, we found a term right here, and it's totally making sense because you see that it's aligned with the context of the question. And the next thing that we're going to need to do is going to be finding out the day and time. So going back to day and time, I pretty much like going back to the table right here and see that it's saying day and time. So I'm not at this point, I'm not totally sure yet, but I'm gonna still go ahead and type it out because it's a piece of information that make the most sense. So it's gonna be sec day time. And I think it makes sense because when I look at the course table one more time, I didn't see anything like a saying date and time. So far I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be the correct piece of information, and from that moment I'm gonna move on to the next piece of information. So right now it's asking you for a room number. Going to this again, you see the room ID right here. So don't you may have a tendency to query it immediately, but I don't think it's gonna be the correct answer in this situation, because when you look at the table, the entity, the ERD model once again, you see that there's a room entity right there. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go ahead and type in the queries up, select all everything one more time, and in this time it's gonna be under the entities of room, so it's gonna be room right here. And you know that those information looks the same, so but for now I'm just gonna go ahead and query the stuff from here. So it's gonna be M N O, and finally the final piece of information can be room type. So according to the columns right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and type in the word RM type. And until this point, you see that you just query out, you just write out the columns from a new entity. So you're gonna go ahead and type in the word room. And going back to the question, you're gonna count, all the piece information if to see if it's gonna be equal to your query. So I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So until this point, I believe that we are good to go to move on to the next part, which is joining, these together. So the next thing that we're gonna do is that we're gonna have to join these entities together, like it's showing on the EAD model right here. And the syntax first, it's gonna be you're gonna type in the word where right here. Let me go ahead and do cap locks. And the way that you're gonna find out the link between the two entities is gonna be related back to the foreign keys and primary key relationship back in the day. So in order to find out the correct column to join, you're gonna go to the you're gonna go through each entities right here to see which columns that have that is in similarity of each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to section, and to fast forward everything, I know exactly that is saying right here check room ID, which have something which is really similar to the room and NO right here from the room entities. So I'm gonna go ahead and double check on the info and on the data, and I see there's like AH102 right here. Going back to section, I saw that there's AH102 right here, so I'm pretty sure that these are the foreign keys and the primary key relationship based on the data type that it provided. So just gonna go ahead and type in the queries right here, which is and set room ID equal to, going back to room right here, RMNO. So a quick tip that I want to tell you guys about these this link, this connection, is that whenever you see, for example, like three entities, that there's going to be only like two connection right here, 1 2, and and so on. So another example is that if you see that there's going to be 4 entities, 1 2 3 4, it's going to be like a 3 connection. So in this case, you already found the link between section and room. What you're gonna need to do is just gonna be finding the connection between the section entity and the course entity. So looking to do, you're gonna do the same thing as the previous part. When you go back to section, and you see that there's course ID right here, and next thing is that you're gonna go to course and see if there's any similarity between the two. So when I query course, I see that course ID and set course ID right here had the similarity in data type. So even better, the even better, you see that the name is related to each other. So course ID right here, and set course ID right here, so you know exactly that it's gonna be the link. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a comma right there. I'm gonna do set CSR ID equal to CSR ID, CRS ID, sorry. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the the queries right here, and it's end result in the syntax error, because you have also, I want to let you to be really careful when you do like the where clause, and instead of doing comma, you're gonna do like the and to have like a list out all the requirement. So pretty much so far you have until this point, exactly that you have finished, querying out everything based on the requirement on the on the questions. So go ahead and run it again, and you see that it fetches 50 rows that fit with the requirement right here. So to narrow down even more, you're gonna go ahead and work on the next requirement, which is room type for all sections offered in an auditorium. So it's going to be another filtering out requirement. So we're going to go ahead and do another and right here. And when you go down, based on the columns right here, you see that room type is going to be equal to auditorium. So it's pretty straightforward. You're going to go ahead and type room type, doing equal single quotes, and as always, be really careful with the uppercase and lowercase. So just to make sure everything is perfect, and I'm gonna go ahead and run it again. And there you go. So far and there you go. It's gonna be resulting in everything under auditorium only. So far, I believe that I have finished everything right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the last part of the problem. When you order your result in ascending order by room ID and following up with the course ID right here. So I'm gonna go down here and type in the word order by, the syntax order by, and be really careful because you want to do it by room ID first, and after that's gonna be course ID. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in the room ID. Oh, never mind, sorry. And it's gonna be the course ID, which is right here, CSR ID, CRS ID, sorry, and everything ascending. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it one more time. And in case if you was not sure to do either room NO or RMID, sec RMID, it's okay to do the same thing, because they are just foreign keys and primary key relationship, which make them similar to each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one right here and run it everything again. It's gonna show you the same result. And finally, the rest of everything is gonna be changing each column to the name that is required in the problem. So you're gonna go ahead and do S. It's gonna be double quote section ID, and you're gonna go ahead and do do it for the rest of them. So run it to make sure, and I see that the column names had changed to section ID. So after a brief moment of putting as for each of the columns, I am now finished with the question number 6, and just to make sure, I'm gonna go ahead and remove everything right here to conclude that this is gonna be like the final queries for this question right here. And I gonna go ahead and see if everything is correct related to the problem, and pretty much that's how you do question number 6 right here. So the next question I'm gonna go through is gonna be question number 9, and this question pretty much like they gonna have like a special type of queries that is asking you to including a specific word within like the information provided right here. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So the first thing that I'm gonna see in here is that like it's asking me to list the course name and ID for whose name including psychology and biology. So it's pretty simple and straightforward when it's already tell you like there is the two columns right here, which is gonna be under the entity of course. So I go ahead and do select C and select all from course. When I run it, I see like the whole table right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do CRSID accordingly, and it's asking me for course name. Never mind, it's gonna be course name first because it's gonna be the order that is required on the problem. CRS course name and CRSID. So I'm gonna run it again. Yes, and it's returned me the two columns that I needed. And it's asking you right here for the course whose name include psychology or biology. So what you're gonna need to do next is that you're gonna go to my cheat sheet right here, and I already include a syntax in there, which is gonna be the word like. So you do Control F and you do type in the word like right here. So when you go to the syntax right here, you're gonna see that in order to return the course name with the specific word like psychology or biology, you're gonna go ahead and do select all from where, when I highlighted in red right here, saying that there's gonna be like and two percentage sign and the word that you needed to be including right there. So what I'm gonna need to do is that I'm gonna go down right here, type in the word where, and it's gonna be the CRS course name equal to like, you do a single quote right here, you do a percentage sign, and it's saying psychology. So go ahead and copy this one, put it down here, another, and you're gonna do everything one more time, but this time you're gonna change it into the word biology. I'm gonna copy this word right here. Never mind that. And once again, these things gonna be case sensitive. So if you do it, based on other type of uppercase or lowercase, it's not gonna work. So I go ahead and close it and run the queries. And from this moment, it's returned nothing the reason behind it is that when you do and, it's asking for like a title that including both of the word of psychology and biology. So for this question right here, you're gonna change the word and into or. So when I change the word and into or and queries everything again, it's gonna result in 6 courses that include the word of psychology and biology, everything. No matter it's gonna be at the end, at the front, up, the string of data. So everything left for you is that it's gonna be short, everything in ascending order by course name. So it's just gonna go down, do order by, just like like usual, order by course name. So C is our course name, and ASC, or you can just leave it blank. Run it again, and there you go. You see that everything is ordered by ascendingly ordered by perfectly. And before I move on to the next question, just be really careful if you forgot to include one of like this percentage sign, because when you do that, it's gonna be showing like the results gonna be showing the course name with the word ending in the the string of data. So make sure that you include the percentage sign in at the end and at the beginning and at the end of the things. Go ahead, queries again, and there you go. That's how you do question number 9. And until now, I'm gonna end this video right here, but tomorrow I'm gonna go to the most 2 difficult question that student has been encountering, and it's gonna be question number 12 and question number 14. So right now, I hope this video is gonna help you with like understanding the basic on how to do SQL, and I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow with the second videos. Thank you and good luck with like your first project. And also just want to let you know that I already finished with all the queries in this project, so please don't hesitate to hit me up through Slack or through my email if you have any other question about how to do all the queries.